The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back once again, race fans, here to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Tonight, Velocity Online Racing heads off into the tricky triangle Pocono Raceway. That's right, this 2.5 mile triangle gonna give a few drivers some fits. Happy hour already in our back pocket. We're heading off into this 10-minute qualifying session. How you doing? How you feeling out there in TV land, race fans? Glad you could all join us here tonight from Pocono Raceway. Race number 7, as I have already said, gonna get set to kick off here tonight. We'll see who's got the fast time out there tonight. Gavin Sanders already out on track. Tell you what, let's take a ride around the track, take a look here, see how Sanders makes his way around this tricky triangle. Contact with the outside wall, that's not going to fare well. Dave Stedman in the 74 also out there on track. Going to cross the line to begin his first time lap. Let's see what Stedman can do. Nobody with a time lap just yet. Very early still, though, in this 10-minute qualifying session, 1.5 minutes into it. And we'll break down a little bit of your point standings as we roll through qualifying here. Dakota DeMage right there, top of the speed charts. Alex Van de Sant, John Christensen, your top 3 as they are on the board. There you see it off to the left-hand side of your screen. A lot of drivers out there on track. The 27 of Craig Forsyth, Christian Alesio, Christian Jasper, Julian Altena out on track as well. Diego Perino, Gary Gatto, and Maxi Stang all out there on track. All of these drivers going to be able to make tonight's Triple Crown event. It usually is the fastest 33 drivers, and Alex Van de Sant goes to the top. Dimash takes it right back. Quick time, 41.83 for the 82 right now as we continue to watch Dave Stedman. Second time lap for Stedman. Can he jump the top 2? We'll see. Crossing the line, where can he go? Julian Altena gonna take the top of the speed charts. Quick time, 41.72 for Altena. Crossing the stripe, losing some time. Where's he go? Can he jump? No, he can't. Stedman gonna stay right in that 5th position. We'll jump back now with Luis Gonzalez Nunez as that 15's on his up to speed lap here. The 15 looking strong down that long pond straightaway into the tunnel turn here. About 3 minutes into tonight's qualifying session, 10 minutes overall, so 7 minutes remain for about 10 drivers to make a time lap. Nunez begins his first time lap there. You can see him dropping down, trying to get close to that yellow line, keep the momentum up, and almost into that outside wall, and that's on the edge of disaster, and that's almost where you've got to run here. Especially on your qualifying laps all by yourself. Drivers going to be very busy with those weight jackers in the corners, trying to set themselves up, whether they want to be a little tighter or freer depending on where they're at on the track. Different corners here, 3 distinct different corners, and Nunez almost into that outside wall once again. Gonna go 5th on the speed charts. We'll see if he takes another lap. Christian Alesio also out there still. Anthony Concha, Maxi Stang, Shane Coogan, Michael Jeffries still yet to put in their time lap. 15 drivers have posted a time here in qualifying, and Gavin Sanders has snatched that pole away from Julian Altena. down to the 100th of a second to give Gavin Sanders that top spot. Very, very close up there at the front of this field. And it looks like Nunez is going to go ahead and shut it on down, so we'll jump out now with the 59 of Lewis Woodall. Woodall making his way off of turn 3 and into that outside wall. That's going to end his time lap now with Marcus Hudson as he makes his way off of turn, I believe that is turn number 1. And as we were saying, as we leave it on the screen behind us, we'll go ahead and run down a little bit of tonight's championship standings coming into tonight's race. Just 3 races remaining tonight here at Pocono, Michigan, and then the championship race in just 3 more weeks at Gateway Worldwide Technology Raceway. Gonna be one heck of a show right there as well. Marcus Hudson crossing the line that time by. Gonna begin his time lap. We'll go to your championship standings coming in to tonight's Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300 right here. That's right, round number 7 in season number 3. And Isaac Morris, top of the point standings. That race versus driver sitting pretty right there, right at about 37 points ahead of Dakota Damage. Damage looking very fast here tonight, so looking to gain some ground on him. Close battle back there around 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Julian Altina, your back-to-back season champion, right there in a fight just to try to get into the top 5. So just let you know the amount of skill and passion these drivers have here in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series right here on iRacing.com. I tell you what, they're top-notch. Wouldn't want to be around any other IndyCar league. This has got some top-notch drivers right here, week in and week out. Just amazing things on and off of the track. As we get rid of those championship standings, only about 4.5 minutes remaining here in qualifying. Marcus Hudson, 21st on the speed charts. And it doesn't look like anybody going to have anything for Gavin Sanders, the 90. He's going to take that pole position. It does look like Lewis Woodall, Isaac Morris, not going to put in a time lapse. So last week's race winner, Isaac Morris, your point series championship leader coming into tonight's race, not going to go out and put down a qualifying attempt. But out of respect and out of what he did last week, I want to take you back to what Isaac Morris was able to do last week in the Clip That Canadian Grand Prix from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. I tell you what, let's go back, flashback to your points leader coming into tonight's race, drive through at Montreal.
broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the boats bursting in out, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Backtrack side as the field makes their way off the tunnel turn side by side. Ready to go, green flag racing for the first time here tonight in the Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. 120 laps around this 2.5 mile tricky triangle. The Ford Mustang pace car ready to duck off for the first time here tonight. We will get set to fire things off. Gavin Sanders, you're inside. Pole sitter waiting for it on the gas, and green flag flies here from Pocono Raceway. Race number 7 now on the clock. Field fanning out 3-4 wide down into turn number 1. Julian Alton is still right there in the top spots, trying to take a little bit more position, getting forced out to that outside, losing one spot from second back to third. Sanders gonna lose the top spot to Damage as Damage tries to take the race lead on the first lap down into the tunnel turn side by side. Your top 4 positions on the track: Shane Coogan 7th and 8th with Victor Santos. Oscar Gonzalez out there as well, making up some positions all the way back inside the top 10, running in the 9th position. Matt Houston, also race first driver, that 66 can help his team out. Only 20 points needed here tonight for race first to secure the constructor championship points here. So a lot of different things can be decided here tonight from the tricky triangle in the Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Damage beginning to set sail battle right there. You see it on screen. 3 cars all tucked in, nose to tail. Gavin Sanders, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, Julian Alton right there in that blue machine. That number 1 on the front of that Indy car. Back-to-back series champion allows him to run that number. Alex Van de Sant closing in the 17. Drivers beginning to sort themselves out. Looks like that draft, that dirty air, going to begin to start to rear its ugly head a little bit further back through the field. Right here, battle for the spot inside the top 10. Matt Houston, Oscar Gonzalez, Dave Stedman, all right there, packed up with each other, making their way down the long pond straightaway into the tunnel turn. Small gaps beginning to develop. Another 3-car battle right back here. Ooh, very close right there for Christian Jasper and Gary Godso. Godso taking a spot away. Ooh, big slide job. Oh my goodness, that was pretty close, making their way out of turn number 3 for a spot inside the top 15. Still battling for the race lead, though. Look up here. Gavin Sanders, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, trying to see who will go and try to catch that 82 of Damage, taking the race lead on lap number 1 and not looking back since. Damage showing some strength here early from Pocono. Still close battles all over the raceway. There you can see that long train of single file cars going all the way through the field. That's from about 5th on back to 13th, all piled up right there on top of each other, all within 3/10 of each other. The dirty air starting to be a little bit more prevalent for these drivers. Some of them may continue to try to run in that dirty air and possibly save a little bit more fuel. You're going to range right around the 30 lap mark in a green flag run here from Pocono Raceway on the fuel cell. So maybe some drivers might be going through the engine maps here, maybe changing the fuel consumption, trying to possibly extend the run. 120 laps here, so going to take at least 3, possibly 4 pit stops to make it to the end of tonight's race. We'll have to see how these drivers want to break them down, and it all depends also on whether or not we have a caution flags. Change everything, changes fuel strategy, changes the running order, and changes more than likely who has a headache. And out of tonight's race, Pocono is not very forgiving, especially in these open wheel cars, as we continue to watch a battle at the front of this field. Battle for the second spot as Luis Gonzalez Nunez has Julian Altena all over that gearbox as they slowly begin to reel in that 82 once more. Damage with company now as Nunez closes in down the back stretch into the tunnel turn number 2, down the short chute here to, actually that was going from the short chute into turn 3, back down the back stretch now. Do apologize about that. Little close battle back there. Dave Stedman looks like he's having some issues. Christian Jasper going to make his way by Stedman. Anthony Concha now making his way by Julian Altena. So Altena having some trouble as well. Altena falling through the field all the way back now. What has happened to Julian? And it looks like that nose may have got some damage here. Taking a look through timing and scoring, not seeing any indicators on anything happening to Altena. But it does indeed look like the right side of that machine is damaged. See if we can't get a better shot of it with maybe one of our drone cams not being able to actually catch it right there. So some trouble early for the one of Altena. Back at the front of the field, battle still between your top two. The 82 of Dakota Damage, your race leader, was outside pole position, or actually, I apologize, sat in the 3rd position there and took the race lead as he made his way off of turn number 2 and has not looked back ever since, has led every single lap here tonight. As he's got Luis Gonzalez Nunez just behind him, 0.3 of a second advantage for him here tonight in the Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Jumping back to some more battles, a little bit more action on the raceway for you. Gary Gonzo, Christian Alesho's got Craig Forsyth, Isaac Morse. There you see last week's race winner making his way up through the field. There you can see him right there ducking to the inside of Matt Hudson. Marcus Hudson gonna lose that position as Morris tries to take that race verse machine a little bit further through the running order, now sitting 7 spots up from where he started tonight's race and now inside the top 15. I do want to give a big shout out to the IRS. That's right, you heard it correct. Inform Racing Series. League that has been operating on Formula 1 2020 as well as here on iRacing.com. Go on and check those guys out. Do appreciate them coming on board, being an associate sponsor here tonight in the Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. So a big time shout out to Inform Racing Series. You can check them out on Twitter at IF Racing Series. Drivers continue the green flag run early here tonight, but a few drivers have had some trouble getting around the track. Julian Altena had an issue, scraped the outside wall. That is what put that one machine down and onto pit road, losing some laps very early here tonight. Luckily, it is early. If we should have a rash of trouble and chaos, Altena may be able to find his way back into some points paying positions here tonight. Otherwise, it's going to be some tough sledding from here on out. Back at the front, battle, and new race leader Luis Gonzalez Nunez takes that top spot with the pass coming out of turn number 1. They head down the back stretch into turn number 2, still with that race lead. Nunez on the bottom, keeping control of the race. Here comes Sanders. Sanders right there as well. So 3 cars now with a chance to lead the race. Only 2 race leaders all race long so far. And doesn't look like the dirty air affecting Luis Gonzalez Nunez too much, or maybe just being able to adapt and adjust those front or rear ARBs in the weight jacker. Very active here. Pocono, very, very known for being a very active inside the cockpit raceway. You got to be on top of things on how the car handles when you're right there with somebody, right there by yourself. You know, it all everything's determined on those things and how much speed and grip you can get out of the car. Nunez stepping away from Damage and Sanders as those 2 drivers battle it out. We'll jump back to another battle here as Alex Van de Sande makes his way a little bit closer to Shane Coogan for a spot. Well, both of these drivers inside the top 5. Coogan in the 4th spot. Van de Sande back in 5th, wanting more. More battles throughout the raceway. There you can see a big group of cars making their way across the front stretch. Dave Stedman, Alexander. Five cars packed up right here all the way back to the 19th position. Diego Perino, last driver right here in this little pack. There you can see him, 3rd car inside lane. This little scrum of cars being led by the 81 of Christian Alessio. Isaac Morris right there. There you can see him, that familiar black and red race first machine, as Woodall starts to make some ground up as well. Drivers mixing it up. It looks like maybe some contact. No contact between any drivers. They just make their way through the corner a little bit unconventionally. Back to the front of the field. The field has begun to string out. Luis Gonzalez Nunez, your race leader, has stepped away. Look at that gap now, almost knocking on the door of a 1-second advantage for the 15 of Nunez. Makes his way off of turn number 1, back down the long pond straight away. My goodness, that's going to be a tough little gap to try to overcome. Drivers looking at about half of a fuel tank already gone here tonight in this Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Back across the stripe to begin lap number 18. Luis Gonzalez Nunez has control over this race. Clean and green so far here tonight since the drop of the green flag. We'll make our way through the field. Highlight your top 5 as they run on the track, leading here tonight after taking the lead from the 82 of Dakota Damage, your new race leader, the 15 of Luis Gonzalez Nunez. Right there, you see him, 20-year-old from Chile, right there on track, leading tonight's Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Driver back in the 2nd position. Early race leader, the 24-year-old from Indiana, Dakota Damage. The 90 of Gavin Sanders running in the third spot as we cross the line to begin lap number 19 out of the 120 scheduled in tonight's Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Just behind Sanders, you can find the 29 of Shane Coogan right there, the Indianapolis native. Getting the job done as a caution flag flies. Looks like Dave Stedman may have been involved in this one, so yellow flag on the speedway. We'll check out and see what happened with Stedman. Oh, and hard contact with the outside wall, ripping off that right front tire. That is a hard lick for the 74, so tough break there for Stedman. That's going to do it in for him. That's going to put an end to his night. We'll jump back up front live once again with your race leaders as they bring the cars to a crawl. They will more than likely all hit pit road this time by just 10 laps away from where they should have seen a green flag pit cycle. So drivers all going to come to pit road and get 4 fresh Firestones as well as a full fuel cell. Looking through the timing and scoring, it does indeed look like Dave Stedman gonna be out of tonight's race. First driver to fall victim to the tricky triangle here tonight. Julian Altena, very long extended stay on pit road, but has since rejoined the race. He is multiple laps down, but still gonna try to soldier on. That's what you've got to do when you are a champion and when you are trying to make up every little bit you can in the points. And as these drivers all make their way down to pit road, we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. And welcome back trackside once again as promised. Ford Mustang pace car lights all out, field ready to go. Back, green flag racing here tonight from Pocono Raceway in the Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Luis Gonzalez Nunez, your new race leader, took the race lead away from Dakota Damage, who snatched it away from your pole sitter Gavin Sanders. Now Sanders, after the pit stop, sitting right there in the second position. Field makes their way into turn 3, ready to fire things off once again here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Do want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in and joining us here tonight on Turn 3 Racing Network for the Velocity Online Racing Season number 3, race number 7. Green flag back in the air for the Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300 on the gas, and away they go. Field fanning out. Looks like drivers losing a little bit of hardware back there on the speedway. May see a debris caution here momentarily, or may just have a crew member jump over the wall, go snatch that up real quick. Nobody's seen that. Nunez able to skate away from Sanders, who's got his hands full of Damage. Damage has Coogan, Gessler, Van de Sant, and Santos right behind him. Oscar Gonzalez in the 11 machine, sitting right there in the 8th spot, up 2 positions from where he started tonight's race. But once again, a man on the charge through the field, now inside of your top 10 for the first time tonight. Isaac Morris going to cross the line in the 8th position as he takes a spot away from Oscar Gonzalez. Gonzalez down into turn number 1. Morris up 14 spots from where he started tonight's race. Christian Jasper, looks like the 67 machine has had some issues. He's down on the pit road. He's going to give up a little bit of time here. Will he make his way back onto the speedway? Doesn't look like he's had any incident reports, so maybe just a little scuff of that outside wall and wanting to check over his machine. These open. Oh my goodness, Dakota Damage, I believe that was very close with Gessler. And indeed it was. There you can see Damage trying to make his way by Thomas Gessler. Shane Coogan off in the distance. That 29 machine sitting in the 3rd spot as they run right now. Luis Gonzalez Nunez with a 7/10 of a second race advantage over Gavin Sanders, who has right about a second over this battle for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th position on the track. More battles back through the back of the field. Here you can see another side-by-side battle. That's between Matt Houston and Marcus Hudson. 3 wide. There's Michael Jeffries involved as well. 3 wide down the front stretch in the rear of the field. And big move there by Jeffries. He's going to take 2 spots as he headed back in to turn number 1. Heck of a job. Heck of a way to grab some spots, man. Jeffries not afraid here at Pocono. Looking just outside of your top 10, there you can find the 27 of Craig Forsyth. He's trying to reel in Maxie staying in a 93 right up behind him. Fast moving Lewis Woodall closes the gap, runs right all over that rear end, that gearbox of Christian Alejo. That was a very close moment, a very big moment. Now Diego Perino, he's going to close in inside the top 15. There's another 3-car battle side by side through turn number 1. Perino looks to the middle. 2-3 wide down the long pond straight away. Who's going to back out by the time they hit the tunnel turn? Looks like that top side going to go double file. Perino going to lose a little bit of ground, but losing a position was Woodall as well. Back to the battle near the front of the field once again. Alex Van de Sant just off in outside of your top 5, running in the 6th position. He's got Dakota Damage, Oscar Gonzalez as well as Isaac Morris right here. Those 3 cars all packed up with each other, running from 7th back to the 9th spot. Gary Gotzo rounds out your top 10. So little small battles all over this 2.5 mile speedway. And I do want to check in on one thing. Want to check in on the weather report if we can't pull that up. Let's see if we can't get somebody on that. There you go. There you have it. Track 120 degrees, so a very slick track here at Pocono. Ambient temperature 79 degrees, so not a very warm day here at Pocono, but the track taking a lot of heat. That may come back to haunt some of these drivers. They may be having to overwork their machines with those weight jackers, with those front and rear ARBs. Last time we were on pit road 10 laps ago, how long will these drivers extend their 30-lap fuel cell? Right around that 30 lap, if you run engine map, I would probably say 1 or 5, you may be okay. You may be able to extend that just a little bit if you dial that back just a tad, sit in the dirty air, but in a comfortable, stable dirty air position, you're going to be able to keep some of that slipstream and stay off of the accelerator a little bit more and gain just a little bit of speed and a little bit of fuel throughout the run. Gonna check back in with the battle back here towards the rear. 3 Ford cars all lined up on the raceway. Once again, Christian Alechos battling with Diego Perino. That's 13th and 14th on the track. Lewis Woodall for John Christensen packed up just behind them. The 22 of Michael Jeffries involved in the mix as well. You'll see Jeffries making his way off of turn 3 there, just behind this 4-car battle, as I believe that is Perino that has control over that 13th position. There it is. Yes, indeed. Looking to the outside goes Woodall. Not going to be able to grab that spot away just yet. 2 seconds in front of these drivers sits the 27 of Craig Forsyth. Maxie Stang knocking on the door of a top 10 in the 11th spot, and Gary Godso rounding out your top 10. Not much to report at the front, but we'll jump back up to it anyway. Here we go. There you go. There you see it. The gap, the distance between your race leader, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, and Gavin Sanders, right at that 0.8 of a second mark between them. Shane Coogan has been able to close in on Sanders, but not able to get there just yet. I believe the dirty air starting to rear its ugly head. He's sitting right at about that 3 or 4 car distance. And that's right when it's really going to start affecting you and really start to affect the way not only that the car closes in, but really start to affect how you hit that dirty air. That wake through the center of the corners can create a big time push. If you thought the aero push was bad in these Dallara IR18s at any track, come do it at Pocono in Oman. Front of the field slowly starting to come back together as we work our way down through the tunnel turn number 2, lap 33 out of the 120 scheduled in tonight's Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. If you're looking to find those few extra seconds, looking for just a little bit of guidance, a little bit of knowledge, how do you get that little bit of time out of it, you can contact Apex Sage Coaching. Whether you're a rookie or a seasoned vet, they can help you find those final few hundredths to get you to where you want to go. Check them out on Twitter at Apex Sage Coach. You can also look for them on the forums. Check for them down in the description as well. That's Apex Sage Coaching. Want to take a little bit of a look at the sector times here, and I know what you're thinking, race fan. Sector times at Pocono? Yes, indeed. Let's see where that speed is. Let's see where Nunez is faster, and there you can see not even a tenth there in the first half of this track, but the second half almost a 2/10 second advantage for Nunez. So Nunez much quicker on the second half of this track what that indicates to me is he's able to get through the tunnel turn a little bit better, and Sanders that time by much faster on the front half of the raceway. We'll have to see how it shakes out this time by across the line. Let's see if Nunez is almost that 0.2 of a second faster. Once again, I believe it's going to be a little bit quicker for Sanders. So Sanders a little faster that time by, and it reflects on the speed charts. Your race leader of 43.16, Sanders with a 43.07. Fastest man on the speedway last time by was the driver sitting back in the fourth spot, Victor Santos, the rookie. Victor Santos up there running quick time on the speedway, 43 flat for Santos that last time by. Closing in fast on that third and final podium position. He finds himself just 1 second behind Shane Coogan. And as we look at the sector times, also want to remind you, race fans out there, that pit stops may be looming in the air here very, very shortly. These drivers last on to pit road at lap number 20. We are working our way around this raceway at the 37 lap mark, so 17 laps in from where they last pitted. 30 laps, or give or take a lap or two, is that fuel cell limit, so we may see drivers adjust their race due to the when that caution flag flew. We had less than 100 laps to go here, so that's going to mean at least 3 stops from here on out. Will a driver try to shorten one run and extend the last 2, or will we see one driver extend 2 and shorten the 1? We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out as they continue to try to run down your race leader, Luis Gonzalez Nunez. Gonna jump back a little bit through the field battle for the 5th, 6th, and 7th spot on the raceway. Thomas Gessler just in front of Alex Van de Sandman on screen right there, making his way off of turn number 3. Oscar Gonzalez, and Dakota Damage, your early race leader. Damage falling through the field here tonight. May be saving some fuel, may have had a little bit of race incident. We'll have to see what happened there, as Craig Forsyth may have had some trouble as well back on lap 32. Forsyth off of the track. We'll have to wait and see. Let's see. Yes, indeed, they're saying we've got a thumbs up on that. So let's go back, see what happened with that 27 of Craig Forsyth. Oh, and there you see hard impact with that outside wall. And oh my goodness, just absolutely destroyed. That is not going to be a good look for that 27. He is going to be out of tonight's race, so he will join the 74 of David Stedman off the track and behind pit wall. Houston on to pit road as well. Looks like that is a scheduled pit stop for that 66 of Matt Houston out of the Raceverse stable of drivers. Keep in mind, we already said it one time already here tonight, race fans. 20 points is all Raceverse needs to secure the points championship on the constructor side of things. Isaac Morris, if he could snatch one more race win, if he could win here tonight, that would all but sew it up on the individual, on the driving. Oh my goodness, caution flag flies, caution on the speedway. Let's see what this one's all about. Not seeing very much. See what this caution is all about. Oh my goodness, and who was that spinning through the background? Ooh. I can't even tell who that was. It looked like Diego Perino, but I don't believe that was Perino at all. Multiple drivers making their way by that incident. We'll try to see if we can't get a better look at who that was. And there you can see that 93 Maxi Stang. That's who it was. Hard impact with the outside wall off of turn number 3, and Stang's night is going to come to an end. We'll rejoin the front of the field back behind the Ford Mustang pace car. Once again, Luis Gonzalez Nunez has control over this race, has led quite a ton so far here tonight, has taken the race lead from Dakota Damage, who has absolutely fell through the timing and scoring through that pylon all the way back, now running in the 8th position. So Damage, something not agreeing with those tires that he just had on, and more than likely we will see this field back onto pit road. It is over the 20 lap mark on the tires, so look for these drivers to reset the tires, reset the fuel. And with that being said, we're going to take a brief commercial break, step away from the track for a small moment, pay a few bills, you know how it is. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Time to take a closer look at this 2.5 mile super speedway. Townsend, take us away.
Well, Pocono is certainly unique. Down at turn 1, really no other corner on the schedule like it, 64 feet wide, based on Trenton's old corner. There you see an old roadster ripping through old Trenton. And then turn 2, Paul, really tricky because it's bumpier than ever this year.
Yeah, that's where the tunnel goes under the track to get in and out. Big bump right in the center of the corner right there. And then you get to turn 3, which is just down the road from that corner. Turn 3 super flat, but it's kind of like Milwaukee.
It is just like Milwaukee. It was modeled after Milwaukee, and we're going to be watching turn 3 as we see a good shot of Elio Castroneves a few years ago working Milwaukee. We're going to be watching this turn because this is where Will Power was so genius last year in blocking Joseph Newgarden, and it comes to this long, wide front stretch, longer than Indianapolis, way wider, almost twice as wide as Indianapolis. And we're going to go off, guys, 11 rows of 2, but we could easily see 2 rows of 11 going into turn 1.
It was 7 in previous years. Unbelievable, and yes, you will see more of that today.
Backtrack side once again as the field makes their way down the short chute towards turn number 3. Dakota Damage staying out on the speedway. He's going to take over the race lead, but look for Damage to be eaten up here with those fresh tires just behind him as they make their way now down towards turn number 3. I'm not quite sure about the whole stay out there. 22 lap difference on the tires there. That is almost an entire fuel run. Unless Damage believes we should have some equalizing events later on. I don't know. That is a gutsy call. Nonetheless, Ford Mustang pace car ready to duck on off. We're ready to fire things off once again here from Pocono Raceway in the Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Green flag flies on the gas once again is the 82 as Nunez comes up through the gears as well. Gavin Sanders, Shane Coogan, Victor Santos, Thomas Gessler, and Isaac Morris underway. Big battle there with Isaac Morris, Alex Van de Sant underway as they make their way through the tunnel turn. Isaac Morris gonna give up a little bit of ground. Here comes Gary Gotso to the bottom and around for the 8th spot. Morris gonna fall back to 9th. Shane Coogan in a battle as well with Victor Santos. Gavin Sanders right here in the mix. The top 3 drivers beginning to step away. Or top 2 drivers, I should say. There you can see a battle right now on screen. Gavin Sanders, Victor Santos, Thomas Gessler, Shane Coogan, all battling for a spot on the speedway. And oh my goodness, Julian Altena. What has happened to Altena? A crash for Altena. He's going to get off the speedway. No caution. We stay green flag here on lap number 46 of the 120 scheduled in tonight's Apex Sage Coaching 300. Damage with control of this race, still with those old tires, and I tell you what, crew chiefs have got to keep their eye on this one. This is a very interesting fact. 22 lap fresher tires for Luis Gonzalez Nunez, who walked away with the race lead and had control over this field before the caution flag flew. He can now not make his way by Dakota Damage on much older tires. Damage able to hold off the faster tires, the fresher tires, so crew chiefs gonna have this one in their notebook. The tires not really mattering as long as you can keep the dirty air on the drivers behind you. This is gonna go into play later on. Should we have a late race caution, we very well may see some drivers stay out on some very old tires. And I'm just amazed how these top 2 drivers have been able to step away from the rest of the field. Rest of the field all on that same pit cycle with Luis Gonzalez Nunez on the pit road back on lap number 42, so just 7 laps ago. But yet, Luis Gonzalez Nunez and your race leader, Dakota Damage, stepping away by almost a second and a half over Victor Santos, Gavin Sanders, Shane Coogan. Those drivers still battling it out for supremacy on the track. Alex Van Sant, Isaac Morris, Thomas Gessler, Lewis Woodall, and Gary Godso round out your top 10 as they make their way across the track. The stripe to begin lap number 50 out of the 120 scheduled here tonight. So knocking on the door of the halfway point here tonight and closing in on shutting the door on season number 3. How many points can Isaac Morris grab here tonight? Can he begin to separate himself just a little bit further? But the man in that top spot doing what he's got to do here tonight, Dakota Damage, sitting 37, checking the scoring, 37 points behind Isaac Morris in the championship standings, and if he can finish in first and and Morris finish outside the top 5, that is going to give him quite a bit of a gain in the point standings. He'll be within, I would say, 20 or so points, and it very well may come down to a fight at Gateway. So Damage, knowing what is on the line, knowing he's only got 3 shots at it here, and he's got to make each one of these races count, he is doing exactly what he has to do, and he is now leading this race once again after taking the lead very early, falling through the field back outside of the top 5, driving back to the front. Damage leads us around this raceway, lap 52 out of the 120 scheduled in tonight's Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Speaking of Isaac Morris, we'll jump back to the battle between himself and Shane Coogan. That's a battle for the 6th and 7th spot on the track. You can see a battle between Thomas Gessler and Lewis Woodall just behind Morris and Coogan. Morris going to look to the bottom of the speedway on Coogan up the track into turn number 3. To the high side goes Coogan. Morris on the bottom. They get close through the center. Drag race, nobody with the advantage just yet. Drag race to the line, give the advantage for the moment to Morris, but Coogan not giving any ground on that high side. Gonna head off into turn number 1, side by side, still battling for that 6th spot. Finally, the pass gonna pan out for Morris, put him into the 6th spot, but Coogan looking for the crossover, heading towards the tunnel turn. He's gonna have the spot, edges a nose in front of Morris, close as they make their way off of turn number 2. Now back to turn 3, Morris with a 1-car advantage, and that's gonna put just enough distance between himself and Coogan. Coogan not gonna be able to fight back this time by as they head down the front stretch to start lap 54. Battle beginning to ensue just in front of Isaac Morris. That's going to allow him to close in a little bit more on your top 3 drivers. Gavin Sanders and Alex Van de Sand, they're going to be battling here in just a few moments. That's the 4th and 5th place runners on the speedway. And indeed, Morris closing in as Van de Sand looks to the top of the speedway. Damage going to hit pit road. And that does look like it is a scheduled stop. Keep in mind, Damage going to have to come to pit road very early compared to the rest of these drivers, and he's going to have to look for this thing to go green for a very long time, for this fuel strategy, this pit strategy to pan out. The 82 doing all he can, throwing all the stops out here tonight. The kitchen sink on the line. Damage has got to win some races here and get some points if he's going to want to try to snatch that championship out of the hands, out of the reach of that 63 of Isaac Morris. Watching a 3-car battle on the speedway. That is for 3rd, 4th, and 5th as they run. Gavin Sanders, Alex Van de Sand, Isaac Morris all nose to tail down the Long Pond straightaway. There you can see Van de Sand looking to the inside going into turn number 2. He'll pull side by side with Sanders way up the track. He's going to give up that spot, give up the run, and no, battle back with a good run off of turn number 2. Sanders takes that 3rd spot back, and here comes Morris down on the bottom of the speedway, hugging that yellow line. Great run off of 3. Van de Sand looks to the bottom, not going to be able to pull the pass just yet. Side by side into turn number 1. He'll have the advantage, the bottom of the speedway. Here comes Morris looking to the inside of Sanders. Sanders going to fight back through the center of turn number 1, gains back that 4th spot, but Morris hot on the trail, running in that 5th spot. Van de Sand taking over the 3rd and final podium position, and now back to the bottom goes Van de Sand, and Sanders looking for the 3rd spot. And caution flag flies, caution flag on the speedway. Looks like the 93 of Maxi Stang may have been involved in this one. We'll take a look back and see what happened here. There you can see already trouble for that 93 machine. We'll see if we can't back it up a little further. No, not being able to really catch it. Big time trouble there for that 93. He had to have contact with the outside wall because the right side is just absolutely caved in. So hard times for a lot of drivers out there tonight. We'll rejoin the field back at the front with your race leader, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, as he brings the field back to a crawl back behind that Ford Mustang pace car as the field heads into the tunnel turn. We should see all these drivers head down pit road, and amazingly and fortunately, I would say, for Dakota Dimage, he did not fall off of the lead lap. The 82 scored in the 16th position right now. Last onto pit road on lap 54. Caution flag coming out on lap number 55. And Dimage will stay out. The rest of the field more than likely will be heading down pit road, and we may see that 82 jump right back to the front of this field. We'll wait to see all the action to pit road here before we take a brief commercial break. And it looks like the field, yes indeed, coming to pit road. And what does Dimage do? Gonna keep our eye back here on the 82, and as expected, he's gonna stay out on the speedway and regain control over tonight's race. So heck of a fuel strategy and tire strategy panning out. But now these drivers much closer on the fuel and tires, so Dimage gonna have to rethink that strategy altogether. And with that being said, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. We'll be back trackside for all your green flag action tonight in Velocity Online Racing's Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Take a closer look at this 2.5-mile super speedway. Townsend, take us away.
Well, Pocono is certainly unique. Down at turn 1, really no other corner on the schedule like it, 64 feet wide, based on Trenton's old corner. There you see an old roadster ripping through old Trenton. And then turn 2, Paul, really tricky because it's bumpier than ever this year.
Yeah, that's where the tunnel goes under the track to get in and out. Big bump right in the center of the corner right there. And then you get to turn 3, which is just down the road from that corner. Turn 3 super flat, but it's kind of like Milwaukee.
It is just like Milwaukee. It was modeled after Milwaukee, and we're going to be watching turn 3 as we see a good shot of Helio Castroneves a few years ago working Milwaukee. We're going to be watching this turn because this is where Will Power was so genius last year in blocking Joseph Newgarden, and it comes to this long, wide front stretch, longer than Indianapolis, way wider, almost twice as wide as Indianapolis. And we're going to go off, guys, 11 rows of 2, but we could easily see 2 rows of 11 going into turn 1.
It was 7 in previous years. Unbelievable, and yes, you will see more.
And drivers back underway already, not quite as much of and a big scrum right there. Victor Santos, Isaac Morris, they scrap it out on the track, and oh my goodness, Isaac Morris into the outside wall. Caution flag flies, caution on the speedway. Your race, your points leader in trouble. Hard impact with the outside wall. That machine is destroyed. We'll take a look here, and there you can see Isaac Morris already with the contact. Oh my goodness. Back it up once again, see if we can't see that one. Ooh. Tough break. We'll run it back down from the green flag for you. Isaac Morris, one shot from the cockpit here. Let's jump on board with your points leader. There you can see Morris up through the gears, looking to the inside of Santos. Looks like he may have had the spot there. A little close battle. That's what we've seen out of the back of our picture. And then up the track just a little bit, and there's the contact. And no, I thought that was the contact. Oh, there it is, way up the track. There's the contact, hard contact with Victor Santos. Santos into the left side of Morris, and that's all she wrote. Morris hard into that outside wall. That's going to run us back live with your race leader back at the front of the field. Dakota Damage has control over the race after a pit strategy working in his advantage, working pretty much, if you were to ask them, exactly as they planned it. Damage able to control the race once again here with just 4 laps older tires than the drivers behind him, and we've seen him able to keep the field at bay with 22-lap older tires. As you see, the other driver involved in this latest incident bringing his Dallara IR18 down pit road. Victor Santos on the pit road. Alex Vandesen, Matt Houston, Christian Jasper, as well as your points leader, Isaac Morris, all down on the pit road. And Morris gonna be well off the pace, well behind the field if he can even get that machine fixed back up. And unfortunately for Morris, his trouble is Dakota's fortune. That's exactly what Damage needs. He needs to be able to win tonight's race and have Morris have a race night like tonight in order to really gain some ground here. And as I said, unfortunate for Morris, but that is exactly what that man on screen and that 82 machine needs here tonight. There you can see a little bit of dirt on that usually bright white 82 machine, so you've seen him have to drive his way through some traffic and up through the field. And Damage now with the clean air, he will look to control the race for the rest of the night, just past the halfway point. And tonight's Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300, want to give a big shout out to everybody over there at Raceverse, as well as Matt Houston, for their continued commitment, not just to this series, but to this league. All the drivers back here at Velocity Online Racing do want to extend a huge thank you and tip of the cap for everything that you do behind the scenes and for everything that you do with Raceverse as well. Sponsoring the $100 prize pool in season number 3. That's right, your top 5 drivers all vying for a $100 payout here in season number 3. And the Velocity Online Racing Team sponsoring the $50 payout to the Constructors Points Champion. And with Isaac Morris falling off of the speedway, Raceverse, I do not believe that team's going to be able to secure the Constructors Championship here tonight. So they'll have to continue on to, I believe it is Michigan next week. With still yet another chance to secure that Constructors Championship, but I don't believe it's going to happen here tonight. Morris way back behind the field now, back in the 17th spot. Big time trouble for your points leader. That is not what he needed here late in the goings, and this is pretty uncharacteristic for Morris. He is usually right there at the front of the field at the end of each and every race, but now back behind pit wall, out of tonight's Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Just past the halfway point, we're ready to fire things off once again when the field crosses the line on lap 65 out of the 120 scheduled in tonight's official race distance. We have seen some long green flag runs, but it looks like right around that pit cycle is when we see the drivers just lose the handling and not being able to complete a green flag pit cycle. Only driver to make a green flag pit stop has been Dakota Damage. Worked out in his advantage, and now he will control this latest restart. Pace car at the bottom of the raceway. Field works their way back onto the front stretch on the gas, and green flag flies once again here from Pocono Raceway in the Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Making a move now to the inside. Shane Coogan looks for a spot on Nunez. He's going to have that second spot. Damage to the bottom to make the block. Damage going to turn off of turn number 1 with the race lead still in hand. Coogan up to second. Luis Gonzalez Nunez back to third. Gessler into fourth. And Gonzalez rounds out your top 5. Looking again, once again, all over that gearbox. Now to the inside goes Coogan on Damage. Coogan gonna take the spot heading into turn 3. New race leader for the first time. Can he keep the advantage? Working his way off of turn number 3. Drag race once again. Damage gonna edge out Coogan and lead that lap across the stripe right there, so not able to take that top spot just yet. Coogan still battling on the bottom with Damage at the top. We have seen him run that high side and make it work. High side hustling here tonight, turning out to be the way to go for Dakota Damage. Those 4-lap older tires may be coming into play, may have a little bit more grip. He's going to slide right across the nose of Coogan into the tunnel turn. Now just one car separates those two top drivers, making their way into turn number 3, splitting the track. Back behind them, Luis Gonzalez Nunez and Thomas Gessler still battle for that 3rd and 4th spot on the track. Oscar Gonzalez waiting for a mistake, waiting in the wings to scoop up a spot if he can. Now Damage beginning to walk away 0.3 of a second over Coogan. A little further back through the field, we'll jump back here, check in with a driver that was involved with our latest race incident. Victor Santos still out on the track, running in the 11th position, running down John Christensen in that 44 machine. Christian Alesio just in front of him inside the top 10 for the first time here tonight since starting tonight's race. Christian started in that 9th position, fell outside of the top 10 for quite some time now. Alesio right there in 9th. Back towards the front where their battles are hot and heavy. Gonna go right here once again. Coogan, Nunez, and Gessler now battle for second, third, and fourth on the raceway. Little bit of house cleaning in order here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. 23 drivers took to the starting grid for tonight's Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. We have still got 17 drivers on the track with 15 on the lead lap. The 64 of Anthony Concha being scored. The last driver on the lead lap, Christian Jasper, first driver off of the lead lap, sitting in the 16th position. There you can see your race leader, Dakota DeMage, just out in front of Shane Coogan, stepping out to an 0.8 of a second race advantage over Coogan. Coogan has about 0.3 over Nunez. Hot and heavy battle back here for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Woodall making his appearance on the scene. Gessler right there with Gonzalez as well. Little bit of a battle box for you right there so you can follow along just as we do here in the Turn 3 Racing Network booth. There you can see the top speed as well over that 200-mile-an-hour mark for these drivers. They are absolutely on fire. 2-3 wide as they head to turn number 1. They thought better of it. Now fanning out through the center and off of the corner down this long pond straightaway. Oh, up and in front. Good pass there for Gessler. Gessler gonna take that 4th spot. Close battles on this raceway still with a very long time to go here tonight. Still 50 laps yet to be turned in here tonight from Pocono Raceway. These drivers going to have at least 1, maybe 2 pit stops to make it to the end. Will somebody try to play the fuel strategy game? Will we see somebody try to stretch it on out and make it on a 1 stop from here on out? Drivers do have to keep that in mind, but what we have seen so far here tonight, multiple cautions throughout tonight, so you can't quite bank on that fuel strategy because the caution kind of throws that all to the wayside, throws that all out of the window, and you just very well may not be on the lucky end as your race leader Dakota DeMage was here tonight. Caution flag flying right about when he needed it to after he made his green flag pit stop. So inheriting the race lead after that great call of luck, I should say, for Dakota DeMage and his entire crew. He's able to take the top spot and step away from the field. Shane Coogan back in the 2nd spot. Luis Gonzalez Nunez in 3rd. We're watching the battle with Thomas Gessler and Oscar Gonzalez Nunez. That is a battle for 4th and 5th on the speedway. Diego Perino and Luis Woodall fighting just behind them. That's a battle for 6th and 7th on the raceway. Gary Gonzo, Tristan Alejo right behind them, and Alex Vandesant round out your top 10. Big look to the outside for Woodall. Woodall not going to get the spot just yet. Rookie looking strong here tonight. Woodall is your highest running rookie on the track right now, running inside your top 10 in the 7th position so far here tonight. No real battle at the front to speak of. Dakota DeMage still leads the field by 0.8 of a second. Shane Coogan has about the same gap back to the 3rd place runner, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, as John Christensen makes a pass on Michael Jeffries for the 12th spot. Those two drivers have been flip-flopping that position back and forth for the past lap or two. We'll go back and look at that battle here in just a brief second. Want to let this one play out for that 6th spot between Diego Perino and Luis Woodall. Right there, 6th and 7th on the track. Woodall all over the gearbox, still running tight through the tunnel turn. Oh, and hard impact with the outside wall. Christian Alejo gonna capitalize on a driver with some hard contact with that outside wall. Trying to look to see who that was. Oh my goodness, that was some hard impact. Not really seeing who that was on our screen either. My goodness. Everybody looks to be making their way around the track. No troubles for anybody. So we'll go back to this battle right here. Kristen Alesio gonna slowly try to close in on Diego Perino and Lewis Woodall right there, 6th and 7th on the track. Lap 75 underway out of the 120 scheduled in tonight's official race distance. Brought to you by Apex Sage Coaching. If you're looking to try to find a little bit more time searching for those final few hundredths and tenths on the speedway, head on over to Apex Sage Coaching. They'll hook you up. They can help you find a way to gain those little bits that you're missing, whether it's just some slight differences in the on and off throttle, or maybe it's a little bit of that driver input, rookie or veteran. They've got somebody that can work with you to find those final few hundreds to get you to the top of your divisions and top of the speed charts. Check out Apex Sage Coaching on Twitter at Apex Sage Coach. Field beginning to sort themselves out. We'll go back to this small battle right here. 3 cars, all line nose to tail, small gaps all in between them. Alex Vandesand, Victor Santos, and John Christensen running nose to tail. Michael Jeffries right there, as well as Matt Houston. Anthony Concha a little bit behind them, running in the 14th spot, as we have now whittled this field down to just 14 drivers on the lead lap. Concha, last driver on the lead lap, back in the 14th position. Santos looks like he may be in a little trouble. He is all over the raceway trying to break that draft, but Vandesand not having none of it. He's going to be all over the gearbox, and I tell you what, race fans, why don't we jump on board with a little roll bar action just above the halo here. Ride with that 17 of Vandesand. There you can see that 17 trying to mimic the movements by Santos, breaking that draft, trying to slow down Vandesand, trying to keep him at bay, not allow him to get into that slipstream. But there you can see Vandesand lap after lap. He's following through, slowly gaining each and every straightaway, trying to keep pace through the corner. He downshifts to the 4th spot, to the 4th gear. There you can see him back into 5th. Now, as they head back into turn number 3, these drivers laying it all out on the line, doing everything they've got to do to try to make up some spots late in the race. Vandesand running in the final spot in the top 10. Back at the front of the field, not much to mention. Dakota DeMage, your race leader in the 82 machine, has stepped out to a 1-second advantage over Shane Coogan, running in 2nd. Back to Luis Gonzalez Nunez, running in the 3rd spot. 1-second advantage for Coogan over Nunez. And another second back from Nunez to Oscar Gonzalez in the 11 machine, sitting in the 4th spot. Then another 1.5 seconds back to Thomas Gessler, last driver inside your top 5. Christian Jasper in the 67 machine gonna be scored, the first driver off of the lead lap here tonight. Gary Gazzo falling a little bit further behind the field, scored 2 laps down. Still on the speedway, still trying to make some laps here tonight. Julian Altina will be the first driver on the scoring pylon. That is not on pit road. That is back behind the pit wall. Alternate Morris, Sanders, Stang, Hudson, Forsyth, and Stedman all falling victim to the tricky triangle here tonight at Pocono Raceway in round number 7 of season number 3 for Velocity Online Racing's Apex Age Coaching Pocono 300. Gonna look for a battle on the speedway. Why don't we go up to this one right here? Diego Perino has Lewis Woodall just behind him. These two drivers have battled it out quite a bit throughout tonight's race as they continue to find themselves running with each other. Keep an eye also on that battle between Alex Van de Sande and John Christensen as that continues to brew back outside of the top 10 battle for that last spot in the top 10. Van de Sande still in that 10th spot running with Christensen still right there, hot on his trail. Woodall right here, closing the distance on the Perino battle for a spot just outside of the top 5 for the 6th and 7th position on the track. Christian Alessio right there, running strong. Back in that 8th spot, Alessio almost into that outside wall. Very close there. These drivers may begin to see those tires start to fade away. Last on to pit road. Back on lap number 58 for the majority of this field. They work their way on lap number 84 here. So right on the cusp of when they're going to have to hit pit road for those green flag pit stops, right on that 30-lap threshold. So when will your race leader, this man right here, Dakota Dimaj, come to pit road? He has 4-lap older tires, so he's got a little bit less fuel as well. So he's going to be the standard bearer for when we see those green flag pit stops. So we'll stay right here at the front of tonight's Apex Age Coaching Pocono 300 with your race leader, Dakota Dimaj. Lap 86 now underway. Dakota Dimaj staying out on the raceway yet again. This is going to put him right at about the 32 laps on his fuel and tires. So that 30-lap threshold is right on the cusp of being correct. We'll have to wait and see how long the rest of the field stays out as well. Shane Coogan and the rest of the field on to pit road back on lap number 58. They are running at about 28 laps into their fuel run. We'll keep an eye on them and keep an eye on your race leader, who's going to stay out yet another lap here tonight. So Dakota Dimaj extending that fuel run, extending the tire run as they are still outside of that 30-lap to go a window. Just a handful of laps will get them right there, but I believe they are all now very close to that threshold, very close to that fuel window. They should be able to stop on pit road anytime soon and be good to the end of tonight's race here at Pocono Raceway in the Apex Age Coaching 300 in Velocity Online Racing Season number 3, round number 7. In pit stops underway, Dimaj gonna bring his machine to pit road. He needs this to stay green flag from here on out if he is going to want to take back over the lead of this race. Does anybody short pit with him? No, everybody's going to stay out on the track. Everybody going to try to extend their run a little bit further, try to ensure they have enough fuel to make it to the end of tonight's Apex Age Coaching Pocono 300 here from Pocono Raceway. And Dimaj still working his way off of pit road. 9.5 second stop for Dimaj, so a little bit longer than what is normally necessary as Oscar Gonzalez peels off of the raceway back in the background. The 11 down for his final green flag pit stop. He's looking to have a big time advantage with an undercut here. Is Gonzalez, but how long can Damage run down this field before he burns out them tires? How calculated is he going to be on his way back up through the field? There you can see on pit road still Oscar Gonzalez. Gonzalez makes his way now off of pit road. Gonna keep our eye on this one because that's gonna tell the tale. Already backing off of pit road, Dakota Damage makes his way around Oscar Gonzalez. Gonzalez and gonna do away with him quite handily without any problems whatsoever. Back to the front of the field with a battle between Victor Santos and Alex Van de Sande. Right here battling for the 7th, 8th, and 9th on the track. John Christensen might as well throw his name back into the mix. The 44 looking strong here tonight. Nunez going to bring his machine to pit road this time by. Victor Santos going to gain yet another position. Alex Van de Sande, John Christensen going to do so as well. Michael Jeffries now inside the top 10 in the 9th position. Shane Coogan takes control over the race. That 29 machine has a 3.3 second race advantage over Thomas Gessler running in the 2nd spot. He's going to break away for pit road this time by. What's Gessler do? Gessler going to stay out, try to lead a lap here, put a point in his back pocket. His points very critical and very crucial to a lot of these drivers as we are in our final 3 races of season number 3 here in Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series. Just tonight, Pocono as well as Michigan, then the Worldwide Technology Raceway. That's right, gateway for the championship night here in Velocity Online Racing. Just 2 Saturday nights away before we crown a Season 3 champion, and some big news coming out about Season number 4. We will mention that just a little bit in the post-race as Gessler gonna bring his 18 to pit road. What will Lewis Woodall do? Woodall gonna stay on the track, try to lead a lap as well. Diego Perino, Victor Santos, Michael Jeffries all stay out on track. And looking through the timing and scoring, it looks like one man that has been able to get the job done and keep himself out in front of Shane Coogan. Out in front of Dakota Damage, and that is that 29 of Shane Coogan. What a pit stop by that 29 machine. Somehow, some way, was a little bit slower in his pit box. 10.03 seconds in the pit box, but Coogan able to make his way on and off pit road slightly faster than Damage and take that top spot away. My goodness, what an undercut there by that 29, and his entire crew getting the job done. Hammered down right now in the Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. All of your race leaders, Santos, Woodall, Houston, all to pit road this time by. That's going to put the lead in the hands of this man right here. There you can see that 29 reassuming the race lead, as back behind him, Luis Gonzalez Nunez battles with Dakota Damage. That's for 2nd and 3rd on the track. Thomas Gessler right there, knocking on the door on that 18, looking to the inside of Damage. Gessler gonna take the 3rd spot away. 26 laps now remaining here from Pocono Raceway for the Apex Sage Coaching. Pocono 300-year race leader Shane Coogan. What a job on and off pit road, snatching the race lead away from some very fast drivers. And what has happened to Dakota Damage may have misjudged the fuel, because he has dropped through the field from leading now back to last driver inside of your top 5, running in that 5th position. Damage a little bit off the pace. Although your race leader Shane Coogan does enjoy a 1.4 second race advantage, we'll take this time after the green flag pit stop, after what very well may be our final pit stop of the night here from Pocono Raceway. Let's run down your top 5 here in the Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Leading tonight's race, Indianapolis's very own 26-year-old Shane Coogan with control of the race, sitting in that top spot. Driver back in the 2nd position from Chile, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, sitting right there in his 15 machine, looking sweet in that 2nd spot. Back in the 3rd position, 57-year-old Thomas Gessler getting the job done here tonight, rounding out those podium positions. Heck of a run, heck of a drive by that number 18. Driver sitting in the 4th spot in the 11 machine, Oscar Gonzalez. Dakota Damage in the 82 machine, that 24-year-old Indiana native has had control over the vast majority of tonight's race, but unfortunately falling to the wayside late in the goings with just 23 laps now remaining. Damage searching for some speed. And that's going to do it for your top 5 here tonight as we work our way down to the closing laps in tonight's Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Also want to give a big time shout out to your biggest mover in tonight's race. And right here, slowly making his way into that camera shot. There you can see that 59 of Lewis Woodall. Woodall up 17 positions from where he started tonight's race, running in the 6th spot. So a huge gain, a huge points day underway for Woodall. So hats off to that rookie, running well here tonight from Pocono Raceway. The tricky triangle panning out for a slim few. Back at the front, though, your race leader has a 1.3 second race advantage over Luis Gonzalez Nunez, running back in the 2nd spot. Nunez has about the same gap and same distance back to Thomas Gessler, so nobody really under fire, nobody really with their spots and positions contested. It is going to be a long and grueling 21 laps inside of that 29 machine for Shane Coogan. He is going to have to hit his marks time and time again. No pressure behind him or in those mirrors, so that is one thing that Coogan doesn't have to deal with. But when you find yourself with a decent gap, nobody in front, nobody around, that's when it's easy to be distracted, easy to miss something that you normally see each and every lap, each and every corner. But so far, Coogan able to stay focused and beginning to open that gap up just a little bit more. Do want to take a brief moment to thank our associate sponsor in tonight's race, the IRS. No, not that one, the good one. Inform Racing Series. That's right, you've heard it here. Inform Racing Series. An F1 2020 based series, as well as right here on iRacing.com. Inform Racing Series, you can check them out on Twitter for all the details, all the information at IF Racing Series. As always, big tip of the cap and thank you to Raceverse for all they do, not just for the drivers, but for the league here in Velocity Online Racing. Big time shout out and thank you to Raceverse's very own Matt Houston for all he does behind the scenes, all the drivers, with a big tip of the cap to you, Matt, and everything that you do. Raceverse sponsoring the points paying positions here. That's right, $100 prize pool for the top 5 in season number 3, and coming back on board once again for season number 4 is Raceverse with that points paying positions again. So look for Raceverse to be quite a staple with Velocity Online Racing. Very good news coming from the media departments back there at Velocity Online Racing. Some big things coming up, and we'll release a schedule at the end of tonight's race. We will go ahead and show you a brief preview of what's to come in season number 4 for Velocity Online Racing, as Shane Coogan, your race leader, makes his way off of turn number 3, and the gap has diminished. The gap has closed in. Luis Gonzalez Nunez now just over a second back with 17 laps to go. Only real battle on track back here, running for the 12th and 13th spot on the track. Matt Houston running just in front of Michael Jeffries in the 22 machine. There you can see those two drivers trying to battle for a spot just outside of the top 10, trying to battle to stay on the lead lap as well. A lot of big names called out here tonight at the Tricky Triangle. Man, I tell you what, the list is long. Dave Stedman, Isaac Morris, Craig Forsyth, as well as Gavin Sanders. Julian Altina, also one of those drivers caught up and pretty much taking out of contention here tonight. Still out there on track is that one machine, but he is well off the pace and well behind on the scoring pylon. Still drivers trying to make up some spots as Jeffries tries to close in some ground, tries to make up some spot. Matt Houston trying to get by, trying to keep him, Matt Houston trying to keep himself, I apologize, and caution flag comes out. Oh my goodness, Julian Altina involved in this one. We'll see what happened back here on lap number 595 with the one. And not looking like we're going to be able to get to it. Not looking like we're going to be able to see it. Shane Coogan will have control over this field. We'll jump back with your race leader with just 14 laps remaining here from Pocono. My goodness, that's going to set us up for a short track little shootout, even though it's far from a short track here at Pocono Raceway. My goodness. Things gonna change, things gonna get hot and heavy, I can assure you that. Drivers will more than likely be coming down to pit road to get 4 fresh Firestones at the end of this to keep it clean and green to the end. We do have one attempt at a green-white checkered should we need it, but will we need it is the question. Oh my, things gonna get interesting here tonight at the end of the Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. With that being said, race fans, once again, we're going to step away for just a few brief commercial breaks, then head back trackside for all your green flag action live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Little bit of technical issues getting the feed to come through there for just a brief second. Field back behind the Ford Mustang pace car. Lights have gone out. 11 laps to go when we see the green flag fly here once again from Pocono Raceway. Field has put on an absolute show and an absolute clinic out here tonight from Pocono Raceway. Just 5 cautions on the night for the Apex Sage Coaching. A 300 here from Pocono Raceway, and again, this field will get set to fire things off once again. Pace car gonna make his way off, this time by Shane Coogan, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, Dakota DeMage, Lewis Woodall, Christian Alesio, as well as Alex Van de Sant and John Christensen. Your top 7 all staying out on the speedway, all electing to stay on those older tires. So will we see a drive from Gessler or Gonzalez, Santos, or Perino to get to the front? And green flag flies once again here from Pocono. We are live for the Apex Sage Coaching 300. And oh my goodness, timing towers and scoring going crazy for us here tonight late in the going. But Victor Santos with a big move in the back. He's looking for a position on the 11 of Gonzalez. Van de Sant gonna lose a spot to Alesio. Now fighting back once again is Van de Sant for that 5th spot. Leading the field though, Shane Coogan steps away. DeMage looks for the 2nd spot on Luis Gonzalez Nunez. Close battle, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th on the speedway. Here's Lewis Woodall looking to the outside with Dakota DeMage. Can those 2 drivers sort things out? Because the man at the front crossing the line, 10 laps to go. Shane Coogan has an 1/10 of a second race advantage. These drivers gonna have to start to work with each other to try to use that slipstream, try to leapfrog each other, and try to run down the man at the front of the field, Shane Coogan, as he steps away. Anthony Concha with some issues. He goes around. He's gonna have to get towed back to pit road. So now Concha on the list of drivers 8 up here tonight at the Tricky Triangle as your race leader. Shane Coogan makes his way through turn number 3 and back to the front stretch. Caution flag flies. Caution on the speedway. Looks like Michael Jeffries may be involved in this one. And indeed, Jeffries around. We'll take a look back here, and coming to it late, not apart, staying attached to that 22 machine. He had some hard impact. Catching it late once again. That is coming off of turn number 2, so looks like he may have pounded the wall coming out of that tunnel turn and back across to the inside. That is a hard lick for Jeffries, and there you can see that beaten, battered clump of parts down on pit road. We'll jump back with your race leader taking control of the field. Those older tires looking to be the way to go right now. Nobody really making up too much of ground so far. Thomas Gessler started back in 8th, able to get up to the 6th spot before this 6th in latest caution. So Gessler only able to grab 2 spots there in the few laps that we had. I just don't know. I was going to say, is it enough time left? We're going to go back green flag racing with about 6 laps left to go here. Is that enough time for Gessler to really utilize those fresher tires, about 15 lap fresher tires? But will it be enough time for Gessler to make his way through the dirty air and through the pack and up to the front to try to take that top spot away? I mean, we seen Dakota Damage earlier in the race. If you remember, race fans, Damage was able to keep the field at bay with 22 lap old tires. So will we see Coogan, Nunes, Woodall, and Damage be able to keep those hard-charging fresh tires behind him of Gessler, as well as Oscar Gonzalez? He's also got some fresh tires. Victor Santos as well as Diego Perino, both of those drivers with some fresh tires. Matt Houston back in the 12th spot in the 66 machine. He's got fresh tires back on lap 107. So all these drivers with some pretty fresh tires late in the going, just 8 laps remaining. And if you haven't already, race fans, throw these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash the bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Whether it's myself, Darkside Dave, in the cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 Racing headquarters, we do appreciate each and every one of you each and every time you stop by. Whether you just slide in through or you are the dedicated fan, friend, or family, we do appreciate each and every time you stop by. And if you haven't already, toss these drivers a thumbs up for all the great action they give to you week in and week out right here on the home for Velocity Online Racing Turn 3 Racing Network field. Gonna get the one to go this time by as they make their way out of the tunnel turn and back into turn number 3. We should see those Ford Mustang pace car lights go out, and we will be ready to fire things off for what may be the final time here in the Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Looks like the producers want to get in a quick commercial break, so we're going to step away trackside real quick, and we'll be right back with all your green flag action to the end of tonight's race. And back as promised, trackside for the finish of tonight's Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Big time shout out to Apex Sage Coaching, stepping up, coming on as the title sponsor here for the Pocono 300. If you're looking to shave a few final tenths or hundredths off sometime you need it on the oval side, maybe dirt, maybe it's the road course style of racing, you're looking for a little bit of help to edge out the competition, head on over to Apex Sage Coaching. Shane Coogan with control of the race still for this latest restart as the field makes their way into turn number 3. Ford Mustang pace car down there to the bottom side of the track will make that left-hand turn and will fire things off once again here from Pocono Raceway. Who's going to do what they need to do to get to victory lane on the gas, and green flag flies once again here from a Pocono. Final few laps underway. for the Pocono 300 as away from the field scoots Shane Coogan. Battle back there for second, third on the speedway. Dakota DeMage under fire from Alex Van de Sand. That's a battle for the spot inside the top 5. Van de Sand back in 5th. He wants 4th. Woodall right there breathing down the neck of Luis Gonzalez Nunez, who's all over your race leader Shane Coogan. Down into turn number 3, battle for your top spot. Luis Gonzalez Nunez looks to, in contact with the outside wall. Coogan into the outside wall. That's going to slow him down. Here comes Nunez looking to the outside. 5 laps remaining here from Pocono Raceway. Who's going to have what it takes to get to the end of the night in one piece? Hard racing at the front as Coogan grabs that top spot. Back away, Lewis Woodall, the rookie, running inside your podium spots as Alex Van de Sand and Dakota DeMage, they still battle for 4th and 5th. Thomas Gessler in the mix in his 18 machine. Gessler going to take away a spot from DeMage, move Gessler into the top 5. Close battle at the front of the field for the race lead. Still underway. Luis Gonzalez Nunez looks to the high side. Coogan on the bottom. Down through turn number 1. Coogan with the advantage for just a moment, but that run off of turn 1 works out for Luis Gonzalez Nunez. New race leader once again. Top spot goes to Nunez. He's going to fight back on the inside. Here comes Coogan to the outside all over the gearbox. Now the cutback, the switchback. Underway into turn number 3. Coogan to the bottom of the track. They'll pull even out of turn number 3. Drag race off of the corner exit. Give the advantage to Coogan. Nunez looks for a way to the bottom of the speedway. No, going to stay in the slipstream. Now jump back to the outside. Staying, covering that inside lane is that 29 of Coogan. He's going to force the 15 to the high side. Not going to work out. Going to have to utilize a run down the backstretch as Nunez falls 3/10 back off of Coogan for the race lead. My goodness, what a hot and heavy battle for the top spot. Alex Van de Sand, he's under fire back here with Dakota DeMage and Thomas Gessler 4th, 5th, and 6th on the speedway. Just 3 laps remaining, though, as your top 2 drivers begin to walk away from the rest of the field. Popsicle sticks on display for your race leader, Shane Coogan. Can he keep the hard charging? Luis Gonzalez Nunez at bay. Nunez all over the gearbox, down to the bottom of the raceway in turn 1. He's going to pull even through the center. Will the high run work for Coogan? It does. He'll keep that top spot. Heading down towards the tunnel turn now. They're going to switch spots. Up to the high side goes Nunez, and down to the bottom is Coogan. Looking for a cut back once again is Luis Gonzalez Nunez, but covering that cut was Coogan. Heck of a job. Smart play there by Coogan. What's he do off of turn 3? Off of turn 3, check white flag in the air. Final lap, checkered flag next time around. Can Coogan keep Luis Gonzalez Nunez at bay? Doesn't look like Nunez has anything for him through turn number 1 down the backstretch with quite a bit of an advantage. Shane Coogan not going to have any trouble getting through the tunnel turn, but here comes the run by Nunez. He'll be there by 3. Nunez not able to get the job done through turn number 3. What a run to the end. Shane Coogan walking away with the race win here tonight from Pocono Raceway. Oh my goodness, what a run to the end from the Indiana native, the 29 of Shane Coogan. My goodness, what a finish to tonight's Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. There you see all the drivers slowing down, giving some congratulatory waves. Your top 3 for the night: Shane Coogan, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, and rookie Lewis Woodall. So as these drivers make their way to the front stretch and we prepare for the post-race interviews, we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with all your post-race reports. Live here from Pocono Raceway in the Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Backtrack side here from Pocono Raceway as Velocity Online Racing round number 7 comes to a close. The Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300 did not disappoint here tonight. What a great run we had out here tonight on this 2.5-mile tricky triangle. And I tell you what, let's see if we can't catch up with a few of the drivers finishing in the podium spots here tonight. Let's see if we can't catch up and have a word with the driver inside of that 59 machine, Lewis Woodall. It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes.
Hey, my man. Heck of a job. Heck of a run. How you feeling after a solid podium finish here tonight?
I got in contact early in the race, so I wasn't 100%. but honestly, I'll take a podium from that race because I tried so hard. And oh my god, at the end, I was pushing and pushing, but I couldn't. Those two were faster than me.
Well, I want to give you some congratulations on another aspect of tonight's race. I'm not sure we have points for something like this, but you are the biggest mover in tonight's Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300, up 20 spots from where you started all the way back in 23rd. So,
I started last year.
yeah, so just how was the run coming up through the field?
I honestly, I was following Isaac, and I know he got into a crash. He started 22nd, and most of the first, I don't know, 10, 15 places were me just following Isaac as he moved through the pack. After that, it was just strategy and trying to keep your nose clean, because that was what this race was. It was more of a keep your nose clean, get a good finish type of race.
Well, Lewis, keeping your nose clean and getting a good finish, that's exactly what you did here tonight. Highest running rookie as well, so yet another accolade going home in your back pocket here tonight from Pocono Raceway. Congratulations on a great run here tonight, making your way to the podium spots for the first time in the season as well, with just 2 more races in this season. We do want to wish you well throughout the rest of the season, but before we let you go, you want to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on the side of that 59 that helps you get around the track?
Obviously, I'd like to thank Michael and everybody in the Lions team. You know, it's great because we learn off each other. We learn off each other. I think that's the right phrase. We teach other stuff about the cars and stuff. I'd like to thank Julian and all the admins, Robert and for running a great league. Obviously, the broadcasters as well for running a great stream. I've been watching them back, and they've been very good. I'd like to thank my family, obviously. Thank you.
All right, Lewis. Well, once again, my man, congratulations on a great run here tonight, rounding out the podium spots in third, and we look forward to possibly catching up with you at Michigan or maybe even Gateway.
Thank you.
There you have it. Final few words from the driver walking away with that third and final podium spot. You heard him very humbled on the radio. Lewis Woodall in the 59 makes his way out of Pocono with a solid finish here tonight. Let's see if we can't talk with the driver that walked away in second here tonight. Led a few laps as well, but not quite able to get the job done here tonight, finishing in the second spot. Luis Gonzalez Nunez in that 15 machine. It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
I copy, bro.
Hey, how you doing? How you feeling, Luis, after another fine run here tonight?
Oh, finally on the podium after horrible races in the board. So really, I'm so happy about that. I'm very disappointed for the strategy. I thought basically on the last 2 yellow flags, I thought about to save the fuel because my team tried to calculate everything. So for that, I gave the position, the first position, because it's no, I didn't get too much fuel for in the end, but I didn't expect to the last 2 yellow flags. So that's cool. Yeah, that's not what's cool. Yeah, for sure.
Well, a very long race at a very tricky little track. They call it the Tricky Triangle. 3 very distinct turns. Was there any turn out there tonight that just really was working against you in that 15 car?
Well, the turn 1 is really tricky. If you go very inside with a lot of weight jacket, we can lose. The turn 2 is very easy, so easy to catch it there. But the turn 3 was the most difficult, especially in the qualifying. The qualifying is the turn 3 is the key. The key for get the pole position. I tried to do it on high, but I lost like a lot of time for that. But it's much better for put the car on the main straight. So was fun. and especially in the last 6 laps to go. So yeah, that's very cool, very cool. And I don't know why I gave Shane the inside. I don't know why. I thinking about now why I gave Shane the inside, because the inside line is much better when you have draft on the front. So I don't know why. I don't know why. I still thinking about why I gave the outside, the inside. So I know if he go for outside, he gonna lose the car, and after gave all the dirty draft or chain. So I don't know. I lost the race in that moment, in between turn 1, 2, and 3, on maybe last 4 laps to go, maybe something like that. So yeah, I in the middle, actually in the middle, on the last 3 laps, I changed the RB. I changed the white jacket too, so to try to put the car. But yeah, after laps to go, I saved the car to the end. So yeah, was fun, but a little bit disappointing for me. So because I lead I lead the race, but yeah, it was very fun. I'm very happy too, because finally I get a good position in this after many races. So yeah, I'm very happy.
Yeah, a very rough run there for you for a while, but congratulations on finishing in a podium spot here tonight, walking away in the second position from the Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. So before we let you go, Luis, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on that 15?
Yeah, I'm gonna say very fast in English. So I'm gonna say thank you for everybody. Thank you for you, Dave. Thank you for the organization. And it's coming two to go, so let's do it strong for the end. I want to say in Spanish something, because my family see me and watch me in Chile. Doy las gracias a todos, a toda mi familia. Doy gracias a mi madre, a mi padre, José y Dina, que me están viendo desde Chile. También se agregó mi tío Sigi, que me está viendo desde el sur de Chile. Así que les mando un saludo y espero que me puedan seguir en estas últimas dos. Y se viene algo grande pronto, así que mucho mejor que esto. Así que muy contento con todo. Thank you so much, Dave, and see your hope on Michigan in the podium.
All right, Luis. Well, once again, congratulations on second place. And yeah, we'll look to see if we can't catch up with you in Michigan.
I run in Michigan. It's no, yeah, it's just only full throttle and just put the car on behind the car. You're gonna see big group, like a 10 or 20 cars on the same spot. So it's gonna be just who's gonna, maybe on the key is last 20 laps. If you first in last 20 laps, you can go inside and never lose the inside. If you lose inside, you're gonna lose the car. You're gonna lose the race. So it's easy. It's easy, but very tough in like if the car inside can hit you, you can lose the car, or maybe if you put a lot of weight jacket, you can lose the car too. So yeah, if it's the same setup for the official races, it's gonna be tough, but inside, but also for the old tires. So yeah, something like that.
All right, well, there you have it. Final few words and an insight into next week's race at Michigan Speedway. Finishing second here tonight, Luis Gonzalez Nunez in the 15 machine. We'll see if we can now catch in a word with your race winner driver inside that 29 machine. Shane Coogan is Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Dave. Got a copy.
Hey, man. How you doing? How you feeling after walking away with the race win here tonight from Pocono?
It feels awesome. That was a hard fought race for sure. And, we started a little bit further back and just kind of took our time, worked our way up. And it was a good one out there. Had some really close battles with some good drivers.
Well, walking away with a race win late in the season, only 2 races left, Michigan and Gateway. Does it give you any confidence moving forward in those 2 races, and maybe even looking forward into season number 4?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it always helps when you can finally grab a win. And it's been since last season at Fontana since I got one of these in VOR. So it feels good to come back and finally grab one again. It feels great to grab a win also in the RIL car, the red and blue car. Really cool looking car. Shout out to my teammates over on that team, RIL. Actually, RIL is another league that runs on Wednesdays, the Reddit IndyCar League. So happy to drive that car. And shout out to my teammates, Chris Kresge, Christian Jasper, Tony Patty. They're a good group of guys. So it's great to work with them. But yeah, it's that was a tough battle out there, man. There were some fast guys like Dakota and Isaac and Lewis there at the end. And everybody was giving it their all. So it honestly feels really good to grab this one, and hopefully we'll take some momentum in the rest of the year. But honestly, it hasn't really been our year over here, so far. So I'm sure we'll shoot for next season to really make a championship run. But feels solid to grab this one.
All right, Shane. Well, we won't keep you very long from the post-race celebration, so before we let you go and enjoy the race win here tonight, would you like to give any special shout-outs, thank yous, love yous?
Absolutely, yeah. Shout out to Velocity Online Racing, really good league here. Julian does a great job, running the show and organizing the league. Shout out to Apex Sage Coaching, they're the sponsor here today. So Isaac, again, he's a pretty fast driver out there, and Apex Sage is his side business and coaching drivers and stuff. So that's pretty cool. So shout out to those guys. Shout out Dave. Thanks for broadcasting on Turn 3 here. And any family friends watching. My brother Tyler occasionally will race with me too. So that's pretty cool. And we'll take this one. It feels good. It feels good to grab a victory, and we'll keep trucking here.
All right, my man. Well, we'll look forward to catch up with you in the final 2 races of the season if we can.
Sounds good. I'll be up there trying, and thanks, Dave.
All right, there you have it. Final few words from the driver walking away in the top spot. Your race winner in the Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300, the 29 of Shane Coogan, getting the job done out there tonight. And it does seem like producers are already hitting the button, so you know those familiar sounds. It's time to run down tonight's unofficial race results. Let's see if we can't get them on screen for you. And just like that, your unofficial race results for tonight's Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300 for round number 7 in season number 3 for the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar League. Walking away with the race win in the top spot, the 29 of Shane Coogan. Finishing in the second spot, right behind him, the 15 of Luis Gonzalez Nunez. Rounding out the pole positions here tonight, the 59 of Lewis Woodall. The 18 of Thomas Gessler gonna slot home in 4th. 5th place goes to Alex Van de Sant, Dakota Damage. Finishing in 6th. 7th place goes to Oscar Gonzalez, while Christian Olacio finishes in 8th. 9th place goes to Victor Santos, and rounding out your top 10, the 30 of Diego Perino. The 44 of John Christensen gonna slot home in 11th. 12th place goes to Matt Houston. Gary Godso gonna finish in 13th. 14th place goes to Michael Jeffries, and rounding out your top 15, the 64 of Anthony Concha. Christian Jasper gonna slot home in 16th, and finishing in 17th, your back-to-back season champion, defending champion, the one of Julian Altina. Isaac Morris, your points leader, finishing dismally back in the 18th spot here tonight. 19th goes to Gavin Sanders, while Maxie Stang finishes in the 20th spot. The 48 of Marcus Hudson walking away from the track in 21st. 22nd goes to Craig Forsyth, and Dave Stedman gonna round out the field in 23rd for tonight's Apex Sage Coaching Pocono 300. Well, with that being said, not much left to do, not much left in the tank here tonight from Pocono Raceway, so we're going to begin to roll up some of the cords and head on to Michigan for round number 8 in the Velocity Online Racing. If you haven't already, throw these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash the bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live on the Turn 3 Racing Network. With that being said, stay safe, stay loved. Till next time, we're going to leave you with a little bit of season number 4 preview. Here goes your season 4 upcoming schedule.